Our devotion today is from Matthew chapter 28. In the previous chapter, we saw the crucifixion and the burial of Jesus. And at the end of the chapter, we see the Pharisees. They're still scheming, right? They still want to make sure that this movement is just completely put to an end, this movement that Jesus started. And so they go and attempt to get, and they do get, Roman soldiers who are going to go guard this tomb because they're afraid that the disciples might come in and steal the body of Jesus and claim that he raised from the dead, just like Jesus said that he was going to do. Of course, in this chapter, we see that he does do that. The Marys end up going to the tomb. They see this incredible scene with this angel who rolls away the stone, and there's an earthquake. And the reason that this is so important, and the reason that the Pharisees didn't want it to happen, was because it does. It proves who Jesus was. He was exactly who he said he was. Everything that he said was true. And the condemnation and that he pointed out in them was true. And it meant that they were going to have to change. Of course, the funny thing is that by trying to scheme, by getting these guards to come guard this tomb, they ended up giving more proof to the fact that it was impossible that the disciples could have come and stole Jesus' body. He did rise from the grave. He did exactly what he said he was going to do, and he was who he said he was. Of course, we see that, man, they have some hard hearts. It doesn't even really matter to them. They don't care. They end up trying to make up a lie again, doing like a flip-flop. Well, now let's say that this is really what happened. The disciples came and stole the body, but of course there were guards there. It was impossible. But that was the lie that they tried to circulate, just so that they didn't have to come to reality with the truth that Jesus was who he said he was. He was God, and he did raise from the dead. The next scene is obviously an extremely important one for us who call ourselves followers of Christ. It's known as the Great Commission, where he gathers his disciples and he says, "All authority in heaven and earth has been given to me. Go, therefore, and make disciples, baptizing them in all nations, teaching them to obey what I have taught you." It's important for us to understand that he didn't say, "Go forth and make converts." He said, "Go forth and make disciples." And this is obviously one of the things that we miss out on so much in the Christian walk, and it is really one of the most foundational aspects of being a follower of Christ. If you've grown in your walk with Christ, there has been somebody in your life who has discipled you. And I think for this chapter and this opportunity is for us to think about maybe some of those people in your life who's discipled you. Maybe reach out to them and just tell them thank you. Thank you for what you taught me, how you raised me up in Christ, and bless them today. And also think about what kind of discipleship is going on in your life now. Who's discipling you now? If you can't think of somebody who you are seeking to emulate as they follow Christ, someone who's discipling you, don't be afraid to reach out to somebody that you look up to and say, "Hey, would you mind investing some time in me? Would you mind discipling me?" And think about who maybe you're discipling as well. Don't be afraid to ask somebody if they would like to be discipled. It's foundational to who we are as followers of Christ. We ought to be teaching others what Christ has taught us, everything, and teaching each other to live in obedience to Christ. God bless you guys.